Are we live? Oh my God. Really? Seriously? Right now we're live. Hello. Hello, creepies and crawlies. And thank you for joining yet another episode of Ice Cream Queens. And I have a goat, I have a rubber chicken, and I have Lauren. Can we bring in Lauren?
You're gonna scare away, and someone's gonna check out the show and be like, "Oh, this looks like a really good podcast. What are they talking? What is she doing with the rubber chicken?" Speaking of, warning, this show may contain strong language or disturbing topics, which may be unsuitable for children, and unusual humor, which may be unsuitable for adults.
Mhm.
Go ahead and knock that out.
Yes,
Oh
because
my
I kind of feel
God.
like that's a thing. That's always a thing.
I'm
And
gonna have to get like another rubber chicken over here, and we'll have dueling rubber chickens one episode, and it just annoy
you
everyone.
you just let me know which rubber chicken I need to bring because I have them in multiple sizes. I have It's so wrong. I have way too many rubber chickens. I should not have this many rubber chickens. And these are just the ones that I can put my hands on
Wink,
immediately.
wink.
And I kind of feel like our guest might have a rubber chicken. I'm not saying that I can see into the background, but I can
He's
totally
probably
see.
running to get a rubber. Oh my God. All right. Before we bring in the guest, I do have like some pre-show chatter I want to talk about.
Yeah, we have a couple of
One
things.
of our very close friends, Allie Wheels, who has been on this podcast multiple times.
Yes.
She has announced recently a really big project. By the way, this is her handle up here at the top of this photo. It's Allie, Allie Wheels, Wheelz, and that is on Instagram and also TikTok. I think she's got Facebook too. She is in New York. She is on the Broadway right now, and they are doing a musical called Most Likely Not To. It features original songs performed by members of the SMA community and includes full ensemble numbers, a hilariously sinister parody of Air Travel, and a wonderful duet and remix of Spaces. I hear that it is hilarious. I hear that it is like cheeky. They released their first single. I think it was yesterday. It is so good. And they're
Can we
going
link
to be,
that?
Yeah, we should put that in. I will work on getting that in the comments so people can check it out. But
Awesome.
they are going to be live streaming this musical for the first time ever, February 29th on Rare Disease Day at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you are looking for the link, you can look it up by the name of the musical. You can go to Allie's Instagram, and it's in her links on her Instagram. I am so excited for my friend. I messaged her today, and I was just like, I am so happy and proud for you.
Oh, well, honestly, I think we all are. Congratulations to Allie. That's absolutely amazing. I know that she has an incredible voice. I don't know if everybody's had the opportunity to listen to her sing, but she does vocal instruction as well. So
That's
if you
one of her
are
many
looking,
jobs, yeah.
oh my gosh, she's just an amazing talent and absolutely adore her. We need to have her back on just to talk about this.
We do. That would make a wonderful show topic.
I
And I
agree.
think you had a couple things that you point the other way. You had a couple things you wanted to discuss.
Yes, actually just kind of a quick overview. We have a lot of things coming up. So in the past couple of years, it's been kind of one of those things where we have been a bit elusive. It's a little harder to I know, the elusive ice cream queens. We are out and about. We are constantly moving around, and you can usually find us at different events. But I'm going to tell you the first event that we are scheduled to be at. Hello, Dad Budget Preppers. We are scheduled, or was that Dad Budget Adventures, I think, to be at Jackson Comic Expo on March the 2nd. I do believe we have a couple of images of that.
Possibly. Joey the roadie, backstage man. He's probably busy. He's like, I was trying to load stuff.
I will find them. There we go. There we go. Thanks, Joey. Joey's awesome. You know, honestly, we are very blessed to have some awesome backstage people working with us. And but yes, we have so you and I are going to be there. What are you wearing? Never mind. We'll figure
I was just about to ask you. I already know what I'm wearing.
Okay, it's a secret. We'll share that later because I'm sure this is all new.
Okay.
Is your hair is it your hair? Does your hair give this away? Is this kind of what we discussed? Okay.
It might be.
So the other event that we're scheduled, I don't have an image for this, but scheduled to be at Haywood Comic.
Haywood.
Yeah, Haywood Comic Convention, and that is in Brownsville, Tennessee, March 9th, 10th, and 11th. I think you and I are actually doing that morning. We're not going to be there on the 9th, but we're going to be there on the 10th, and then
I didn't realize it was a multiple day con. I thought it was one. I've had it on my calendar as one this whole time. Let me smile and nod and fix that.
Yes. We're doing a live stream, I think, on the 11th with them, which I probably haven't shared with you yet.
Cool.
Yeah, all of those details are being worked out. And of course, we have Mid-South Con coming up in March as well. That's the 22nd through the 24th. And then, of course, I cannot go without mentioning our friends at the Rockabilly Highway Revival. I'm going to be hosting the pinup contest, and that's going to be on June the 8th. And that's our friend Brian Huff, who owns Huff Photo, and his wife, who is the tourism. She's over tourism there in that area. It's an incredible festival, and I'm so excited. I have rearranged a lot of things to make sure that I can be there, and I am so excited to host this coming. So look for that information coming very soon. And then, of course, our Smoky Mountain Fan Fest is August 10th through 11th, and we are so excited to be there. So yay!
I think you missed one.
What
Mid-South Con.
I said Did I say Mid-South Con?
Yes, I don't know.
I'm going 90 to nothing at this point, trying to get through all these dates. But yes, we are going to be at Smoky Mountain Fan Fest. I think that you have mentioned you are very excited to see Ron Perlman.
Yes.
And I'm excited to see Billy Zane. We're just going to leave it at that. There we go. And then, of course, yes, Mid-South Con, that is March 22nd through 24th. You and I are actually scheduled to do multiple panels. So if you want to do a live version of this show with us and come in and ask us questions, ask us anything, because we will answer. Okay, maybe not anything, but yeah, we will. We would totally you know.
If you could have seen the look on my face. Anything.
Yeah, I did see the look on your face. That's why I paused. Okay.
No, for the people who are on audio only. We're getting so many comments in here. Everyone's saying hi. Hi, everybody.
So let's run through the comments. Let's say hello, and then we're going to bring in our guest, because we have a really cool guest this week.
Oh my God. About this one.
Yes.
Okay, couple more comments there. Oh, no, we're bringing in the guest. Yes.
Guest is there now. Oh my God, he's got a rubber chicken.
That rubber chicken is bigger than like a dog. Oh God.
My head for size comparison. Yes. I realize this is the internet. I should use a banana, but I don't have one. At least not the one that I can use here. So
I've never understood why people use banana for size comparisons. All bananas are not made the same. There's little bananas, there's those giant honker bananas. I always go with magic cards.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that makes sense. I would say tarot cards, but tarot cards come in all different sizes.
They do.
So,
this is true.
Yeah. So
$1.
We have a lot of people that are sending us hellos, and can we?
I'm just gonna say a big hi to everyone.
Hello, everyone.
At the same time, I saw Eli. I saw Dad Budget Adventures. I saw Keisha. I saw
Skylar.
Yeah. I saw hi Ed.
Thank you.
Whoever
Ed.
that is, I don't know who Ed is.
I think Ed is probably a friend of Tim's.
All right, let's go ahead and say hi to our awesome guest today, who is Tim. Tim is, I've known for so many years. Tim is one of the most dedicated and talented individuals I have ever seen in theater, period. Not even just theater. He does so much more than general theater. He does these grand shows. I saw you just the other day, and you were helping out the circus that was in town.
Yeah.
You do so much. So give us a little rundown. Hi, who are you? How'd you get here?
Well, Tim Romine, born and raised here in Memphis. How did I get here? We're G-rated, so. But I think we all know how that happened.
Mommy and Daddy loved each other very much.
Yes.
And
there's a lot of love going on.
So, I mean, as far as how I got into prop and set building and the theater kind of stuff, I'd always really liked theater. But then, as a kid, there weren't here in Memphis, there just wasn't a whole lot going on that I was aware of. I was in one play, The Wizard of Oz, at the Children's Theater back when I was in like 3rd grade. And Flying Monkey, of course, because what the hell else would I be?
I was thinking Cowardly Lion, but yeah, keep going.
Oh, I can see that.
No, I wasn't that good. But I mean, I like the prop building side and whatnot. I kind of got into early on in high school. My dad and I both had the same kind of macabre sense of humor. And
okay, I wasn't expecting it to go there, but yeah, let's go with it.
Well, Halloween, everybody loves Halloween.
Yes.
That is the prop builder, like, mecca right there. Building all sorts of stuff. And that was the first coffin that I built. I was in the coffin. I had a cow skull that sat on top of it with car lights that I ran off of a battery that I had in the foot of the coffin. And I could turn, I set it up where I could turn the skull so it would talk. It had a speaker under it. It was yelling things at kids as they walked up the walk to get to the house, and the skull would follow them. I'm inside the coffin twisting this pole to make the skull laugh at them and tell them how they're going to die and all sorts of other stuff. We had the yard was set up as a graveyard. It was awesome.
Okay, I have to ask, because there is a huge movement across pretty much the nation that creates home haunts. So you have haunted attractions. My youngest child actually has worked at a haunted attraction this past season. Mm-hmm. Absolutely loved it. She was doing makeup and prop design, nice. And then she was also a scare actor. But one of the things that I truly find fascinating are these people who create these home haunts, and I'm curious, is that kind of what you guys were doing?
Sort of, not going into the house per se, but just in the front yard. Mm-hmm. When I was a kid, of course, everybody walked around the neighborhood and trick-or-treated and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
And the houses that I always really loved and my dad loved were the ones where somebody would set they had the front bench out next to the front door, and there would be a scarecrow or something sitting in it. And so you'd go up to ring the doorbell, and then the homeowner, of course, is the scarecrow and would just like reach out at you, and that jump scare kind of thing. I mean, love those. And once I got old enough, my dad was like, "You want to scare some people?" I'm like, "Heck yeah, I do. Let's do it.
Let's do it."
And so that's how it started. I mean, I first started with just a coffin and a sheet over my head, black sheet over my head. Kids would walk up and knock on the door, trick or treat. And Dad would say, "Oh, well, the candy's over there in the coffin. You got to go look in the coffin." So the kids would walk over to look in the coffin. I would put that sheet down, up out of the coffin.
Oh, I love it. Aww.
And I did not care what age they were. I probably made more than one set of parents kind of poop themselves while they were.
That's okay. Here's the thing. We do that. Those of us who, yes, we are the generation that grew up trick-or-treating. I'm looking at you and I'm figuring that you and I are probably in the same age bracket. You're talking about like the home haunt type things. I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, put your hands in like peeled grapes for eyeballs. And
oh yeah, that was a church thing. That was a haunted house I set up for a church one time. Was doing the eyeballs and the.
I think that was like the first one that myself and my brother ever did at our house. So, I mean, because we were like, yes, you're going to come into the garage and we're going to scare the shit out of you.
I've never understood the peeled grapes. Never.
It's eyeballs.
It's eyeballs.
I know that it's eyeballs, but who would sit there and take the time to peel freaking grapes?
I did. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Boil and chill some spaghetti to be the brains, and
Okay, so I can see that. And I don't know, I could see like maybe getting a giant watermelon and one of those tiny little scoopers and doing like half frozen watermelon scoops instead of peeled grapes. But
they
I don't know.
So fast. They thaw super fast. The grapes, they don't change. They and you can squish them, and
and things like pop out of them like seeds. I think that is weird. Is that where basically all prop builders get their start? Is they're building Halloween props as they're younger with their family, and then you just realize that I have a love of this?
I don't know. I mean, for me, my dad was a master carpenter, so
Oh wow.
I grew up, going to job sites and working and learning how to properly build a house, how to properly build things.
Mhm.
So then when I started really getting into theater, once I got to college, of course they drove me nuts because they said, "Oh yeah, you build this way." I said, "No, you don't.
That's not how we do
That's
that.
going to collapse." But
That seems very not the safe.
exactly, yeah. At least we all agreed, measure twice, cut once. But other than that, yeah, I really had to adjust my concept of how to build things once I started taking like real theater classes.
Mhm.
And I learned, you don't have to build this thing to withstand an earthquake. That's not the point of it. So now that's having said that, the last major play thing that I worked on, I do some set building, not design. I do not claim to be creative. So you tell me what you want built, I can do it, but coming up with it, not so much. Evil Dead the musical, a year or two ago,
Ooh.
they had a door that needed to be slammed, and I mean slammed hard, a lot, every show. And the way theaters set up, set doors,
Mhm.
was not going to take that kind of beating. And everybody's looking at it, it's like, "Hey, I know how to build that. That's just a house door. Hold on a minute." And I mean, boop, 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 done. I had a full frame, house quality framed out door jamb door. And I mean, you could slam the Jesus.
I remember that show.
And it rattled, but nothing broke. And so there are times where the knowledge of the one bleeds into the other.
That's really cool. So it's like good to have both sides of it because it comes in handy. Like you need something to break down. Okay. You need something to last forever. Okay. That's
right.
really cool.
And particularly the last forever side of it, that comes into play. Like most theatrical productions that you do run for 2 or 3 weeks, they tear the set down and done.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Rocky Horror, the Rocky Horror Picture Show Shadowcast, the Absent Friends that I do the props and some stage management for. All of our props are designed. I built them 13 years ago.
Whoa!
And
wow.
Yeah, so like this was the original concept for our Medusa board, or the science control panel that just flashed up there.
That is so
it was supposed to
accurate to what is in the movie, and for the people who can't see, that is like almost exactly. If you picture what you're looking at from the movie, where he pulls down the lever to make Dr. Scott freeze and all of that area, it is so accurate, like to the T.
And that one and it's interesting. We started dealing with props like that. You got what's on screen, which is of course flat, and we're dealing in a very 3-dimensional space. And we knew we were going to be taking this show to cons and be in other places. So like that particular set piece, I built it to be literally a stand-up by itself type product. The screen that was just flashed up was like the Mark I version, because I had this idea that we could break it up into 4 different segments and then put them in a tote and throw them somewhere. It was loose and rickety and had issues. I don't know if you guys have the Mark II version. It's actually got like the back panel and all that to it.
I'm not sure. If you said,
I think Joey is shaking his head no.
Nope. Okay. Yeah, it was. I thought I sent it, but in any case, the one that we ended up with was because I wanted to put it on plywood. We were trying to do it on a budget. I set that thing up, and the producer was just like, "Oh wow, yeah, that needs a backboard." And of course, yes, that's exactly what I said in the first place. And so then, it got connected up to that, and that's a piece that I built 13 years ago. We're still using it. The only thing that's really happened is I replaced the rivets on it periodically, because the rivets are actually made out of they started out as googly eyes, 28 millimeter googly eyes that you buy at like Michael's. And I just spray painted them with auto primer, hit them with some reds, stuck them on a piece of wood. Yeah, those things. Exactly.
I love that you just have googly eyes sitting next to you, DL.
Don't
Who
ask
doesn't?
me.
Hold on, let me find mine. They're right here.
Okay. I'm like,
Okay,
yeah,
well,
there you go.
while
There it is.
oh wait, hey, he found the photo.
Yeah, there we go. So that
okay,
one,
there we go.
so that one you see the TV screen up in the corner actually has a picture that the other one didn't have.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, we've been
Bedroom
knocking around
scene.
for years, actually replacing that with an LED screen until we could actually flash things up.
Oh
that's
wow,
cool.
that'd be
Technology's-
really cool.
The technology's finally caught up to where we could do that, but now it's like, do we want to spend the money on something that works perfectly well?
Yeah.
Googly eyes.
Oh my gosh. All right, so while we're on the Rocky Horror train, I know that you've been involved in Rocky Horror for an extended period. Let's go ahead and just like knock out some of those props, talk about what you've been doing other than just the
Yeah.
set design. So can we
Yeah, sure.
list through the props a little bit?
So yeah, the one that's just flashed up here. This is we call it Becky. It's the tank.
The tank.
Becky from
Oh, the
Tank Girl.
birthing tank.
Yes, it's the birthing tank. That thing that was supposed to maybe last us 2 or 3 months until we built the real one. And it was one of those things where the other person in the cast that does a lot of the prop building with me, his name is Chris Randolph. He and I, our creative process is very interesting. He came up with an idea for how to build the tank, and I looked at it and said, okay, that's nice, but we're going to have these issues. So let's try, let's go with PVC and do this. And okay, and then he'd come back with, okay, that's pretty cool. But what if we did this? Yeah. But then we can do that. And then we ended up with that thing. And it was originally designed to be used as multiple props. It was going to be both the tank, but also for the bedroom scene, we were going to be able to hang the sheets on it.
Oh.
That last part never worked out well. I mean, the Velcro stuck to everything. It was a disaster. Nice concept, awful in execution. So the tank itself, I mean, that was easy enough to build. It's a frame, PVC frame. Periodically, somebody like a producer would step on it and break it, and I'd have to fix it. But I mean, it's very simple, very light, surprisingly rugged. It was one of those things where we built it to be a stopgap, like I say, for maybe 6 months until we built something better. But nothing better ever came to mind. I mean, that thing was so solid just the way it is. It's so small and light, and it fits the space that we got to use. We never went any further with it.
Didn't need to.
Exactly. It was too perfect to mess with. Just let it go. And so, like the rivets on that now, like I said before, we started out years ago with 28 millimeter googly eyes to do them. Of course, you can see behind me here, I've got a couple of 3D printers now, and I've 3D printed a bunch of rivets for that.
Oh, wow.
So now instead of rivets that the paint chips off of periodically, I've got rivets that, as I put them on, are there forever. I don't have to worry about replacing them periodically. They're much more solid. And that's one of the interesting things. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was about to say, what other props do you have? I remember, I don't know, did you make the laser? I'm just wondering.
Yes, we did the laser. Now that was the original prop that I did for Rocky. This is not it. This is the one that I ended up 3D printing about a year ago.
Oh, wow.
And that's the one we still use. The original, you get my hand for comparison. Again, not a banana, but,
I was looking at the bottle of whatever that was.
Wrong kind of banana.
Yeah, no, that's, a friend of mine is a beekeeper. But
I know that thing.
Yeah. So the original 3D gun, that's how I got into Rocky in the first place. Chris had invited me, told me, this is back September of 2010. They were going to do Rocky Horror at the Evergreen. So cool. I used to go back when it was at the Poplar Plaza years ago. I'm not going to say what decade that was, but
I was there too. Okay.
All right, cool. So the very first prop I worked on for him, well, first of all, I went to the show, of course, yelled all the lines, like usually one sentence too early or too late. And so, okay, well,
been a couple of years.
It had been a couple of decades since I'd last seen Rocky. And was watching the production. It's like they need props. There's so much I could do right here. I'm just watching. It's like all the things that were going through my mind. And so went and met with the director and the producer, and they said, "Yeah, come to our next cast meeting." And I did, and a whole lot of stuff got discussed. Nobody talked props. The end of the meeting happens, and I'm like, "Okay, look, if you guys don't need me, just say so. Otherwise, I don't want to waste everybody's time. I'm not here to just be a groupie." And so the director says, "Oh, here," and hands me the ray gun that they had been using, which was entirely made out of PVC, was clunky, just empty holes all over the place, and it's just like, "Here, see what you can do with this." I said, "Okay." Came back a week later and had gone to Michael's and bought like eggs and little spools and made tapered ends for all the barrels, and cut the zigzag out of some PVC siding that I had, and made a gun out of PVC for her and said, "Here you go." And she's like, "Holy cow. Okay."
Was that one of
moving
those
on.
like challenge accepted moments?
Well, yeah, sort of. It was an audition,
Yeah.
It took. I seriously took this as like my audition to do prop design and set work for them.
That's
And
awesome.
so that's how I kind of got more into the theatrical side of it than
Thanks, Eli.
yeah, no, absolutely. USB keyboards. We'll talk about that later, but
we just had a really good comment. Can we pop that back up?
Yeah. Of course, it's from Eli.
Of course. It says #bananas, #chickens, and #ray guns. Man, this episode's got it all, folks.
Okay, so I do have a question, because you're talking about doing prop design when you first started versus, and we heard you talk about 3D printing. How has that changed? Because I know that I have props that have been built for cosplay purposes that are built with chunks of foam and maybe
sure.
a bottle cap and a old TV remote. So I'm just curious. I know what it's like for me as a cosplayer having access to a 3D printer. So how has that changed the spectrum for you in prop design?
Oh, wildly. Things that I would have had trouble trying to figure out materials, or things that I at one point I may have thought to myself, okay, I need to get a heat vacuum form for like plexiglass or something, to where I can, heat it up, suck it down, take it down to a mold, and that kind of stuff. Heck no, I just toss it. If I find an STL file out online, I can generate whatever it is I want to create. Evil Dead, for instance, perfect example of this, where I merged the two different types. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, we have a cool prop that you built for Evil Dead.
Yes.
I do believe it's like it has a name. What did you call
Ash's
it?
Chainsaw Hand.
Yes, but you referred to it as something. What was it? What was the name of it you were referring to it as?
I don't know.
Oh God. Okay, never mind.
I think
it would be the chainsaw. It's the Evil Dead chainsaw hand.
Yeah.
And that is it.
Can I get that?
So I started out for that one. Basically, I had built a chainsaw hand. Cool. I had built one of these before out of a toy it was a plastic toy that you used to be able to get at I can't think of the big retailer, Spirit Halloween.
Oh, okay.
So Spirit Halloween, they sold it for like $20. It was this chainsaw. It was like real size chainsaw, had a blade that spun, had the motor sounds. You pushed a button.
I remember that thing.
Yeah, and I took one of those and put a piece of PVC on the back, spray painted it silver, gutted it, put a handle in it, then changed the trigger button location and shifted some things around, repainted it, and it was a chainsaw hand. And a friend of mine used it for a zombie walk years ago. Then it got used for a couple of other things. Then I had it for a while, and Evil Dead the musical came up a couple of years ago, and the Rocky Horror director, Misty, who was also the stage director or stage manager for Evil Dead or for New Moon Theater asked me, "Hey, do you still have that chainsaw?" I said, "Yeah." And so I went to get it, and nothing worked on it. The motor had died. Nothing would work. I tore it apart trying to fix it, which of course just made it worse. And it's like, okay, yeah, I had it, but it doesn't work worth a darn. So I can build another one. So I started researching how to build it. And this is where, I got out and the ideas people had weren't bad, but I didn't like them. And so I found out, I went and discovered, did some research on what they actually used in the movie. It was a Homelight XL12 chainsaw.
Oh, cool.
And so I found, it's like, okay, that's what they use. Well, let me see if I can find like some, maybe an STL file or something. Ended up on eBay and found one of these bloody things.
Hey!
So bought it. It called up the director, or sent an email to the director and the producer and everybody, and said, "Hey, I found the actual chainsaw that they used. I can modify this thing." And so they said, "Yeah, get it." So I went and bought that chainsaw that you saw was the actual chainsaw, which I physically modified, taught myself a little welding to make the top for it and all that. And then took it in, the one that you guys saw up there has the actual original 14-inch blade. It's supposed to be 22 inches for the movie, to be movie accurate. But I found, I got this thing set up. That's the actual chain, the actual bar on it. And this chain would spin. The motor's out of it, but I had thought, well, I can design this to where maybe I can put an electric motor in it. So at some point we can get this thing to actually spin and work properly. Well, I took it in to present to the director and the producers, and they were like, "Wow, that's amazing." And then the director put her hand in it and said, "Wow, that's heavy."
Oh,
the blade, the bar on that thing was so heavy. So I had gone out and found some STL files for trying to create this chainsaw. One of the chunks of that thing was the blade section. So you ask how it got in. That thing is a blending of actual like prop building, taking the original engine and ripping parts off of it and sticking them back on in different configurations. But then the 3D side allowed me to print blades I could print multiple blades that were far lighter. It made it much safer because it's a musical. People are dancing with it, they're swinging it around, and so nobody's going to get hurt by it. They might get bonked by it, but it's not going to be sharp, and from that aspect of it, I was able to combine both the just visceral sitting down and grinding out parts of the device to make it mountable on a human, along with 3D printing parts of it, like the side panel there on it, the little silver piece, it's got the lines through it. That was originally a chunk of wood that they just glued onto the side of the thing. I 3D printed that. I 3D printed the blade. Yeah, exactly. That part right there.
That's amazing.
There's plenty of parts on that are absolutely real, and then there are some parts like that are 3D printed.
The fact that you can just tear something apart like that and be like, "Oh yes, I completely understand how to pull this thing out and then pull this other part that wasn't attached to this in and make these things work together." I'm over here like, there's no way in a million years would I have been able to look at that and been like, yes, let me just learn how to weld overnight. And
that took a little more than overnight, but it's welding aluminum, that's always exciting. The fumes from that alone are ridiculously toxic. So I had bought new equipment. I bought in order to make the top of that thing, I went and bought a metal cutting saw, like one of the big industrial kind of to cut rebar and all that kind of stuff. I used it at basically like a bandsaw to cut those shapes out accurately to get this. They're all tools I wanted anyway. So and I use them for lots of other things, but it's just one of those, somebody came up with
tools.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry. Speaking of tools, I mean, are these things that do you have a workshop at your house? Do you have a workshop that you go to? Is there somewhere that I mean, obviously you're building all of these really cool things. And I mean, we have tons of photos of things that you have built and things that
I want to pull more up. I feel like we're
oh
not
my
going
gosh.
to. I feel like
Yeah.
we're going to miss some, and I'm like, no. I
Oh,
want to
sure.
talk
Well,
about
like the
them all.
circus, the ring curbs that you showed earlier from the circus.
Yeah.
Like I said, my dad was a master carpenter,
Mhm.
and I, people are always amazed. Oh my God, how did you build the curved things? It's math. It's just basic math we learned in like 8th grade. You know the diameter of a circle. You know the circumference. You got the inner circle, the outer circle. You know your material widths. It's literally just math to put something like that together. But my dad has
where do you build that?
Yeah.
My dad has he had his garage, his shop. That's the table saw. So that's where I go, and I would cut the big sheets of plywood on that, haul them over to my house, and then my garage is just a big shop. Of course, got my car and my deep freeze in there, but the other side of the garage is set up as my workspace, and that's where I do a lot of my stuff. Building, like I say, the ring curbs, building all the stuff that we did for Rocky was all built in my garage. Yeah, that's Bubbles, the chandelier. Now I got to give props to Chris Randolph for that. That was mostly his idea. He really wanted to build it. I just looked at some of the design ideas and said, okay, we'll use a 5-gallon bucket for the body. We got a bicycle wheel for the outer, for that rim that the spigots are on. I took a piece of industrial airline from, for a pneumatic line to make the outside ring for that. So it made it look more curved. Those are syringes that we used for the spigots.
Wow. So for the people who can't see, if you're listening to this on audio, we're talking about a piece from Rocky Horror Picture Show where when Rocky is first introduced and he is birthed from the birthing tank, which we had up earlier, it's the chandelier that Rocky holds onto and is swinging around, singing the Sword of Damocles.
We call her Bubbles.
She bubbling.
But yeah, that picture actually, that was my garage. That's the space that I work in.
So our friend Magda is saying that you must have the coolest garage of all times.
What is it like?
Certainly the messiest.
2-car, 3-car garage?
It was the prior owners had designed the pad to be a 3-car garage. When my dad and I got a hold of it, that's my garage. I built it literally.
Oh wow.
Like I said, Dad's a master carpenter. He walked through here's how you do this, here's how you do that, and I did all of it. Yeah, I mean, very messy. I keep all kinds of stuff, just things that most people would throw away. Yeah, I've got a couple of piles here and there of like bits and bubbles and just all kinds of weird things that I would throw together to build stuff.
I think we all do that.
My cosplay craft closet. I feel so sorry for my husband at times because I'm like, no, what if at one point I might need this scrap?
It's a toilet paper tube.
Yes, I absolutely said that. I had some bunch of scrap, and just the other day, it was like, I need a piece of. I've got it. There it is, right there. And
I need that.
I just needed to trim like a 1/2 inch off of it. Perfect, done. It's
as Joey says, that's why we keep the craft closet, and that's I have one little craft closet, and that's just like here. You can fill this up with whatever you want. That's my safe space of craft stuff. While we're on, we brought it back to Rocky Horror, and while we're there, I do know that you've played a couple characters in Rocky before, and I think we have some photos of that as well. So I really wanted to bring some of those up, just because,
why
reminiscing.
Would you want to torture people with that? Yeah, okay. Me as Eddie.
I love you as
that
Eddie.
Might have even been my first time as Eddie. My hair still had color then. Oh, that's Columbia. That's Chris right next to me. That horrified look on his face is because he thought I was going to run him over. For that particular scene, that's where Columbia is supposed to have. Eddie is about to show up. Columbia comes out, screams, "Eddie," and runs across the stage. Well, Chris thought it would be really funny if I as large as I am, stepped out and like sumo stomped and came running across the stage. And I said, yeah, that's hilarious. Unfortunately, I had half a bottle of Fireball by that point. And so,
and we know that never goes well.
oh, well, you saw what happened. I jumped out and I just slapped a thigh on him, Eddie, and came hauling across the stage. And Chris thought I was going to take him right through the wall into this parking lot next door. I stepped up, pirouetted, and ended up looking just like that. That little
oh my gosh,
kind of thing.
Little...
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have any more? I think we had a couple. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's me as Magenta.
You do love to the Rocky Show cast does a lot of gender bending. Like the entire cast will gender bend, and it is one of my favorite things. I
should point out that beard. I had the pencil beard going. That was from, I don't know if I can say this on air. The Lonely Island skit, Blank in a Box.
Oh, no, you can say Blank in a Box.
Yeah, we're
Dick in a Box. That's
good with Dick in a Box.
Yeah, I built the boxes for that. You know, we had the Christmas boxes, and we actually somewhere, it may be in the hats up there. I think I still have the Kufti Kufta hat that I wore for part of that. It was it was messed up.
Magda.
But
do we got any more of the Rocky photos? Can we knock them out real quick? We got a whole bunch of other stuff.
Well, I want to say that Rocky, you were talking about that they were really good to do like gender bending. And I want to say that I have actually been to the Memphis Rocky Horror where they've done like all male cast in every character, all female cast in every character.
Right.
So, yeah. And those have actually been very phenomenal shows because
yeah.
Go
ahead.
So I was sorry. The men in the cast, whenever they do those gender bends, they are not afraid to go up there and pull the feminineness out of them. No. Like it is really nice to see these grown ass men be like, yeah, no, I have corset, fishnets. Hang on, let me get my squeal. Like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah. Like it's so fun.
Well, and see the talk about the gender bent. It's not even gender bent. It's like all male. Mother's Day and Father's Day, we did the all male cast, all female cast, not just gender bent.
Right.
And so, like the one that you saw there when I was Columbia, that was one of our very first all male shows. And the whole reason they asked me to do Columbia originally. I said, nope, not gonna do it. I'll play Eddie. Just no. And it's not that I had an issue with doing a female part. Columbia is a very important part. A lot of stuff going on with Columbia. A lot of costume changes. None of the costumes fit me. So I knew I was going to have to do every single costume custom for that part. Same reason why I've never done Frank. I know, Lauren, you one time were just like, oh my God, Tim, you totally need to be Frank. You're so tall. Yeah, but nothing fits me. And Frank is probably the most costume intensive character of the whole thing. Every time he's on stage, he's got something different on. So that's one reason why I've never tried to do Frank is I just don't have that kind of the resources to put into that doing it once or twice.
Fair. But just the shoes alone would bankrupt you.
Oh yeah.
But
but doing stuff like Columbia, that was a lot of fun. I don't remember most of that show. Like I said, I got through about half a bottle of Fireball by that point.
Been there, done that.
But I'd been there for like 2 or 3 hours rehearsing, like going through costume changes, and everything was fine. I wasn't even buzzing, but man, you step out on stage and the adrenaline hits. All those little chemicals hit all the neurons, and just.
We had another photo up. I just wanted to I didn't want to skip past it.
Dr.
We
Scott.
had a Dr. Scott up a second ago. Yeah.
Yes. I don't know what the duck face is about, but
it's part of the dialogue at some point.
I was going to say, he's like really kind of, he's more of the gloomy character, isn't he?
I'm pretty sure that's the dinner scene when he's I think that's the I think you're in that moment.
Yeah, that could be. And that's one of the interesting things with shadow casting like this. People Yeah, I've done real theater. I've done shadow casting. Shadow casting is a whole different animal because everybody's watching the screen. They can see the right way to do it, and they're watching you do it at the same time. Yeah, if you don't do it right, they know it immediately.
No creative license.
I was going to say
Yeah.
yes, because I mean, a lot of times when you get to do productions, you have some element of your own interpretation. I've
Mhm.
seen versions
Sure.
of Phantom of the Opera that were done at the University of Memphis that they have taken entire segments and songs and recreated, like um, basically they rescored a couple of songs, and I mean it was absolutely amazing. But when you're watching that on the screen, I would imagine you have to be a bit more diligent in terms of um, being very precise.
Yes. Yeah. And one consistent thing is facial motion.
Mhm.
You have to emote. You can't, like right now we're just talking and our
Yeah,
mouths only move like this much. When you're on stage, I mean, you have to really move your
everything
mouth. Yeah,
has to be.
everything's big so people in the back row can see it. So it's even with shadow casting, that's very specific things you got to get in there.
Speaking of
But
shadow casting, one of my favorite movies of all time has not recently, they've been doing it for a while, but have you ever done like shadow cast for Repo?
no, there's a prop that I built for Repo.
Oh,
Um, the Zydrate gun.
Zydrate gun. Okay. Zydrate
Uh,
comes in a little glass vial.
yes,
A little
comes in
glass
a little
vial?
glass
A
file, a
little
little
glass
glass
vial.
file. Yes. So
Sorry.
yeah, this
I didn't just
after
snort.
after doing Rocky, one of our cast members, Emmy, huge fan. She actually wanted me to play Roddy for the
Ooh,
Roddy
Roddy
Roddy, that would be,
Largo.
yeah.
for she wanted to shadow cast it, but that particular item, she had, like, it was after I had built a lot of the Rocky stuff. She had come to me and said, "Hey, I want a screen accurate Zydrate gun," and so I built that thing. She sent me a couple of tutorials and showed me some stuff. I mean, that's really just like a $10 spray gun, paint gun from Harbor Freight. This, been cut up, all the guts ripped out of it, and things been rearranged and whatnot. And really, the one that was flashed was not the final product. That was what my first build. I call it the Mark One. And then after a while, I came up with some ideas to update it and to make it more screen accurate. So she ended up loaning it to me briefly, and I redid the whole thing, and it got it set up to where it really functions. That glow stick on the back,
Mhm.
uh, I cut a bolt to get the threads. So like that whole assembly on the back end there, there's actually a like half-inch bolt sticking out back there that you can
Wow.
literally screw uh, a glow stick to. So
Oh,
when she
cool.
actually
That's
used
cool.
this for con, she ended up cutting off the little tab off the back of the glow stick, and we had a bunch of glow sticks that fit that bolt, and she just crack it, shake it, and screw it on, and
If
bingo.
if I'm remembering correctly, and I may be wrong about this, so please bear with me. Back when we had the director of the Memphis Rocky Horror Shadowcast Absent Friends
Hmm.
on,
Yeah.
Misty did have some photos of her as Blind Mag, and I think she
Hmm.
did have a couple other photos of the people who were cosplaying as well. Not sure if the prop was like there in the photos, but I do actively remember that being in one of our really
Absolutely.
early episodes.
Yeah,
So we
yeah,
might have
that
a
was
photo of that somewhere, but I don't know if we could find it. Probably
it
not.
was
I don't want to.
it was most likely in his holster on Corbett's hip, but yeah,
Yeah.
that one was a lot of fun. Somebody had asked about building props with things that I find in the garage. That's one where I only had to buy the sprayer. All the other
Oh,
little
that's cool.
silver bits and bobs, and like there's a piece of wiring conduit stuck on there, and
Hmm.
the tip ends and all that. Yeah, the tip was a 7 millimeter bolt or 7 millimeter ratchet thing that I had that I soldered onto the end of that thing. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of times my prop building is just, what do I have that fits these requirements?
So when it comes to like you've done Rocky Horror with the Shadowcast, and I know that there's been a lot of like theater stuff as well. But while we're on the Shadowcast train, I do know that y'all have Shadowcasted a couple other things. Dr. Horrible comes to mind. I don't think we have any photos from that, but I do know that you do like pre-shows before the Shadowcast, and I think we do have a couple photos of you in said pre-shows.
So yeah, that's me as Trekkie monster right there. I think I'm yelling to everybody that internet is for porn. I'm pretty sure that's a porn. Yeah, that one. We walked into the theater and that coat was hanging up in the green room, and I said, oh, "That's my Trekkie costume." And yeah, I've never seen the coat since, but it fit me perfectly.
Wow. Gee, thank you, costume like genie.
Right. Yeah. Now oh yeah. Okay. This is not even. This is actually from a burlesque show.
Oh wow.
I was doing stage and prop stuff for a group called Tennessee Tees Burlesque.
Familiar with them?
It became Tennessee Vaudeville Review, and this was our first show as Tennessee Vaudeville Review. I was Glitter Lip, the burlesque serial killer, and
love that.
I've still got that mask. Yeah, it's the whole. What are those types of clowns called? The Harlequin. It's a Harlequin style mask.
Ew.
But then I use glitter and fingernail polish to make the lips super shiny.
I was about to say, if those lips are not bedazzled.
no, that part was, or that whole concept was supposed to be like a Scooby-Doo mystery kind of thing where everybody in the cast dies. And they think it's the male singer of the group, but it's actually somebody else. It was me. So
love it.
The whole show, they never showed my face.
Okay, I have to stop just because I have to ask, because one of our previous hostesses, actually, I do believe was part of that burlesque troupe. I do believe that our previous hostess, Kat, may have been part of Tennessee Tees.
First show that I did with them, the Larry, the guy who runs the circus that I just helped out with, he was the MC for that show. I was asked to help do stage stuff, and that's where I met Kat.
Okay.
Originally. So
small world.
Yeah, very much. In fact, I saw Kat at the circus like the day after I saw Lauren.
Cool. Oh, amazing. So where is the circuit? I know this is probably over, and is this circus still running?
I think it's done.
No. It was a one weekend thing. It was the Shrine Circus here in Memphis at the Agri Center this past weekend.
I was going to say, I recognize that arena. I was sitting there looking at it. I'm like, I know that place. Where is that?
I posted a lot about that on the TikTok.
Oh yeah, Larry loved it.
Yay!
He saw it. He's like, oh my God, this is amazing.
What?
He loved it.
Oh, really? Yay! I thought you meant you're like Rings of Circus, and I was like, you do such a good job, Tim.
No, your little.
My little TikTok. Awesome. Yay! I'm so happy. Yay! Did we have any more? Oh God, yes, we did have more.
I promise you, I'm not doing anything inappropriate here. I'm actually dying. I'm being murdered by the young woman in front of me.
Okay, fun.
That was from a Halloween pre-show where we did like the Master of Puppets, but it was a medley of 3 songs with a Master of Puppets kind of motif to it. Mm-hmm. And the main things, like the little metal chunks on my head and the bolts in my neck, were all actual like pieces of metal that I had used carpet tape and to stick to me, and then did the makeup around to.
Ow.
Well, again, one of those burlesque things that I picked up. If you want to make sure your pasties stay on, use carpet tape.
Fair. And, okay. Yeah. Oh God.
Oh yeah, here we go. Now this is the not safe for work. King Triton and Ursula from the Spell Block Tango that we did.
Spell Block Tango. That so long ago.
Yes, there's actually quite a few props from that I did. I did that one. I did the that's Triton's helmet or Triton's. Notice the very large that up front. It should be in a box.
Yes.
Implied in the box.
Can you pull the photo back up of the two of us? Because I don't know if people recognized
I was trying to figure out if that was you.
That's
Honestly,
me. That is me. And also, I just really want to point out his seashell in a very strategic place.
Odd piece there.
I love that so much.
I walked into the theater wearing that, and everybody lost their mind.
I bet. God, I bet.
And those were custom made for me tights, because the ones that I ordered from China, I couldn't get my arm in. the 3XLs that I got from I mean, I ended up giving them to somebody who has a much smaller frame than myself. She got to wear them. But Santa Gimp. The Gimp was a character that we created. The very first pre-show that we did was Little Mary Sunshine. And
which, if you don't know, that is from a musical called Reefer Madness.
Mm-hmm.
If you've not seen it, it is really good, really funny, great pre-show material.
Musical that New Moon just did a few months ago, or not long ago. But yeah, that's where that character comes from, the Gimp. He was part of our rules. Don't feed the Gimp after midnight, things like that. We figured if Frank was going to have a roadie, it'd be a Gimp.
Fair.
So,
fair.
There's one prop you're talking about, Reefer Madness. The digital. I say digital. They needed Zippo lighters because it's period, but they wanted them to be LEDs. So these are. I made 4 of these for them. I discovered that if you're going to make a LED Zippo, actually use a Zippo. Don't use the cheap knockoff ones, because those will cut you when you work on them.
Ow!
Zippos are made out of good metal, whereas those old cheap ones are not. So
noted. Okay. You're gonna make fake Zippos. Use the name brand.
Right.
All right. I don't know if we have any more photos. If we do, can we throw them up real quick?
Okay, so this is Maleficent's staff from Spellblock Tango. That's actually made out of a lawn light, LED, an LED light that you would set up in your lawn. It stores the little battery pack in there. I took that dowel, cored it out, and then it made it just big enough for that thing to fit in. And most of that, it's a piece of dowel from Home Depot, and all the little other bits and baubles on it went to the home store and grab some Christmas ornament making stuff and slap it on there.
So talented in making this stuff.
Can I stop and ask just a quick question, because Maleficent is actually one of my cosplays, and I do have her staff. Now, when you're looking at that staff, how tall is that?
Well, that one was made for a very short individual. So it's just over her head. I think the dowel itself is probably 4 foot.
Okay.
And I can make something like that off of any size dowel. In fact, that one was just a standard dowel that you go buy from Home Depot, cord out the top, stuck that thing in there. I used a glass stain to give it that green sheen, but because it's got that fractured pattern to it, if you turn the lights out and actually turn that thing on, it throws like lightning patterns all over the ceiling and the walls. And it's changing colors. So when it hits green, it goes really nuclear, like Hulk green. And then it fades out into a more bluish hue. And then red just completely disappears because of the green dye. But then it explodes back into green again. So it's...
All right, we have 1 minute. 1 minute till... oh, my God. We've got to hit this picture.
Yeah, Men in Tights. I played Little John. Butch. Yeah, that's where we're Butch. That comes from that. That's most of these pre-shows that you're talking about actually are available. We've got them on YouTube. If you go out there and look for Absent Friends TN, that's the name of the Shadowcast, Absent Friends. Yeah, Absent Friends TN. Search for that channel, and you can find a whole bunch of very tight tights. You have no idea. You find a lot of our pre-shows.
I bet she does.
You find a lot of our pre-shows and get a good laugh out of those.
Yeah, no, a lot of those are online. Where else can they find let's start with Absent Friends since we talked about that a bit.
Sure.
Where else can we find Absent Friends stuff online other than YouTube?
If you got on Facebook, Memphis Rocky Horror, Toast to Absent Friends, that's us.
Okay.
There is, yeah, I believe we discovered that there was a TikTok. I don't think it's been active for a long time. Yeah. Really, our main focus is the Facebook site. So
okay,
yeah,
so
there.
if you
and then of course the YouTube channel.
Yeah, all right. So if you are local and you're looking to go to a Shadowcast, like Rocky Horror Shadowcast, it's not something everyone does. Memphis does have one. If you're looking for when the showing times are going to be, that will be on their Facebook. Tim, what are you currently working on now, or what have you recently worked on that you want to like say?
Just recently, I did some set work for New Moon Theater for the play The Squirrels. It's at the Evergreen Theater right now. Sorry, not Evergreen, at Theater Works. We built most of it at Evergreen and moved it over to Theater Works. It's squirrel armies. There's infighting. There's murder. There's intrigue. There's squirrels. Lots of tails.
That sounds amazing.
It's it's
okay.
Maybe some squirrel nookie. I'm not sure what all goes on exactly, but
all right. If people want to follow you, if you want them to follow you, do you have any socials that you would like to give out to be like, hey, follow me? And if not, just be like, leave me alone. And that's fine.
Yeah, no, I don't know that I have a personal. Really, on Facebook is my primary Tim Romine at Facebook, and trying to think, but I think Smurble on Instagram, but that's.
I didn't even know you had an Instagram.
I think I found it.
Half Smurf, half Tribble. It's a Smurble.
Fair.
Yes.
All right. I have one more question that I was wanting to throw out there. I don't know if we got through. Oh God, the rubber chickens. If we can squeeze in, if you could have one show that you were like, I've always wanted to make this thing for this show. I've always wanted to work on this show.
Absolutely.
What would that be?
I mean, it's not really a future thing. I kind of already did it. Evil Dead easily was
fair.
I loved Evil Dead. You guys showed the hand prop. What you didn't see, or what we didn't talk about, like the blood gags. I did a lot of blood gags from them.
Yeah.
Where every time you see the chainsaw come down somebody's hand, there's blood spraying everywhere. I built that gag. At one point, one of the Deadites gets the chainsaw to the neck. You see blood spraying out. There's the blood howitzer, it was a potato gun, a pump pressure potato gun that filled with blood on a floor mount. So when they opened up the basement and she's yelling at the dude, all of a sudden blood comes flying out and sprays her. That was,
for the people who have not seen this, the blood stuff, like there's an actual blood splatter zone when you go to see this live. They sell you t-shirts that are like plain t-shirts that you get to go to the show in and then leave completely just drenched in blood.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Oh yeah, no, there's a total Gallagher effect going on. It was every time they get into the big fight battle at the end, there's blood flying everywhere. Hell, the biggest trick to that was not getting the blood into the upper seats.
You did so well. By the way, we had the seats like directly above the splatter zone seats because my husband is like, ew, icky. He's not too fond of the. He doesn't like the icky, which is fair. I'm like, yeah, cool. We'll sit above the splatter. We were right behind it. Did not touch us once. I'd got no drops on me at all. I was like, I don't know how the hell they did. You had like the bars were plastered with stuff. I think it was really well done.
I got an ick issue. Joey says, I got an ick issue.
But that was that play or that musical was so much fun because I did those gags. I made the pictures that spin. Somebody else did we had puppets that danced during one of the moose thing. I didn't do that. we had a puppeteer that set that up. She did a fantastic job. But yeah, that musical was so much fun, and I didn't think I was going to get to actually work backstage for that. But then after the first showing, Misty sent me a text message and said, "Please come help." We well, there's so much that's going on back there.
Yeah.
At one point, you got the entire cast grabbing a hold of something, just making the whole cabin go nuts. It's it needed more hands than they really anticipated on the front end, which for me, that was awesome. I got to go out and work on this show that I had done all these props for, and it's just like, oh, I wish I get to work on it. I got to. So yeah, that was, you talk about my dream one. That was so much fun. And I have plans to make so much more blood next time we do it. I want to build a stage that's got nozzles on it that spray the audience, and we'll just go nuts with it.
Nice.
I have one more question, because I know we're kind of at the top of the hour, so I wanted to go ahead and throw this one out there. I know that I heard it mentioned that somebody has taken props to con and stuff, and you're talking specifically about Evil Dead. Have any of your props ever been observed by basically the celebrities associated with, like, for instance, I know I've met Bruce Campbell before at multiple cons, and he is usually highly he lays a lot of praise on the people who come in cosplay of his character, and I mean he's an absolute blast. But I'm just curious, have you ever had like the celebrities look at the props and react to them?
Not to the hand. I would love for Bruce Campbell to see that hand.
Oh, I bet.
Yes, the Zydrate gun.
Oh.
I cannot think of the actor's name. The actor who wrote Repo
Played
the Genetic Opera.
Terrence Sudnick.
The
grave robber.
Grave robber.
Yeah.
Yes.
I do believe his name is Terrence Sudnick.
Yes, that's it.
There you go.
Emmy, the person who asked me to make it for her, took it to the con that he was at and showed it to him, and he lost it. He's like, "Holy cow, that's amazing!"
That's so funny.
And he sees them all the time, and that one apparently really struck him. He really liked it.
Yay!
At least that's what I heard. I didn't witness any of it. I can only share secondhand, but. Yeah, that he saw that one. I was really stoked about that, and yeah, I would love for Bruce to see that chainsaw. But
if we ever go to a con,
I was going to say we go to horror cons on a regular basis.
We have a roadie that we need to take with us. It's very important. He does big job stuff, and we're just going to be like, take him with us.
I'd have to kidnap the chainsaw hand from New Moon Theater for that. But yeah, no, I would love to do that. That would be cool.
Would be really cool. All right. I think that do we have anything? Did I miss anything? We had a list and I didn't write any of it down, did you?
I have no idea. Oh yeah. Oh yes, the USB keyboard. This is that is a steampunk keyboard that I was asked to build.
I love that.
And it's actually usable, y'all.
Yes, it is a fully functional USB keyboard. It was built off of an old Cytec.
For the people who cannot see what you are looking at right now, this looks like a keyboard that you would plug into your computer, except steampunk, like wood paneling.
I was going to say, it looks like a
typewriter.
Wood frame, and it has like the round keys that you would associate with like vintage typewriters and stuff from like the 1940s. Yeah, gorgeous.
Yeah, all the keys are actually off of a keyboard or off of a typewriter.
Ooh. Oh wow!
The F keys across the top. The F keys across the top are off of a cash register.
Oh, so even better.
And then like the number keypad are a set of wooden keys that were set up to look like old style, like a old calculator style. But yeah, you look at those, you can see like the shift keys are properly the shift keys. The alt keys are specials.
That's awesome.
You got gas. I can't read half of that. I'm getting old.
Good luck. Good luck reading shit on this show.
Right. There are parts of that I would redo now that I've got better tools like that wood plate on the bottom. I would probably plane that down take that down to a half inch or less just to drop some of the weight. But it's a very beefy keyboard. You can definitely use it for home defense.
Tim, I am so happy you came on this. I've been so like, my friend's gonna be on this, like floating over here.
She has.
I have. I've just
She has.
That's
I've been over
funny.
here dealing with
Happened.
like all kinds of personal crap, and she's just like, "Oh my god, my friend." I'm like, "Oh my god, let me get called up." So yes, no.
Well, okay. So how this happened? So throw this episode into a couple little more minutes. I was probably intoxicated and talking with Tim at one of his parties, and I was like, "You should be on the show." And then, like, he reminded me we randomly ran into each other at the circus of all places, and he was like, "Yeah, you were telling me I should be on the show with the props and all that," and I was just like, "I don't remember that at all." But oh my god, that's such a great idea!
Well, when Evil Dead the musical, when we were doing that, you guys were doing a horror movie because it was in October.
I
It was a
do
Halloween
remember
thing.
that.
You guys were doing a horror movie cast,
Mhm.
and you had asked me about doing it. I
I'd
love
forgotten
Evil Dead,
it
but
was
I'm not a horror per se.
person. Yeah.
Oh.
So there's a certain range of horror that I really enjoy because it's funny.
Mhm.
And like Evil Dead being accidentally funny, the first two movies, and then the third one they just said to hell with it and went
Just made it funny.
full into-
Have
Yeah,
you
they said,
seen
"We
Dale and
need to do it."
Tucker? Because
Oh,
I feel
Dale
like
Tucker versus Evil? Yes.
yes. I was about to say, I feel like that would be right up your alley when it comes
That's
to
ex-
horror.
Yeah, that's exactly the kind of stuff I like. But yeah, that's how this happened was, we were talking in at the circus, and yeah, just hey, if you guys want to do a prop building one, I'm not good with the whole horror thing, but if you want to talk prop building, I'm game for that. And
You
she said,
say you're not good with the horror thing, but like you have Rocky Horror Picture Show, and you've got Reefer Madness, which is like zombies through almost the entire thing, and you've got Ash with the axe hand, and you've got like Repo the Genetic Opera. You have so many things that
all
are
of those
in the
are
horror.
funny.
Yeah, but they're still horror. It's horror genre. And I was just like, no, you're horror. You just don't know it. I love you.
Well, prop building is one of those things that a lot of people who get into that, as we discussed earlier, get into it through their love of Halloween and building those home props initially, and then they start moving into other areas. And generally, what you find is some go into theater, some go into like my daughter has moved into haunts and stuff like that. And I know people.
Some people
who,
go into
Yeah.
HR, Sorry.
It's another level of horror. I can attest to that. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, it's just kind of where you start, where you end up. Well, we are at the top of the hour, and it went so freaking fast.
It did.
And we could keep this rolling all night very easily. But
I would need more wine.
yeah, I'm kind of about to. Am I? Yeah, I am. Okay.
Come share with me. All right, sorry.
So if somebody is looking to observe your work, view, I think we've kind of already touched on this, but once again, where can they find you?
Or like the works that you work on, which theaters, if they want to look up specific theaters.
I mean, the Evergreen Theaters where we do Rocky Horror. The most of the stuff that I've done with New Moon Theater, you're going to be able to see those performances at the Evergreen, or sorry, not Evergreen, Theater Works. I mean, that's where most of my props and things have been. Gosh, trying to think of like I say, go out to the Absent Friends Memphis Rocky Horror on Facebook. Lots of pictures on there of various props that I've built. I think I'm on. There's a couple of prop building panels out there specific to Rocky, where I put like blueprints for the Medusa board. That's what we call that big control panel, the Medusa board.
When you were asking what the name of the thing is, I was like, those are the Rocky stuff. Like the whole time I was like, they nicknamed the Rocky stuff. It's not the other stuff. But I didn't say anything because I was just like, I'm going to pretend that I don't know what I'm talking about over here. And I got shy for a minute. Anyway, sorry, continue on, Tim.
No. I mean, that's where most of my stuff pops up. I've done some pieces for individuals for their cosplay, which I do want to kind of point out. it's interesting when you do a prop for a theater versus a personal cosplay, the amount of detail you have to get right is so much higher in a cosplay piece than it is
that we
in a
know.
theater piece. That there's so much you can get away with doing theater that you're talking about 3D printing and how is it to change things. You can do so much more with a 3D printer getting those details right than trying to do all the little bibs and bobs on your own. It's
yeah. No, I absolutely understand because that is kind of our realm. And yes. And
I think that's it.
I think it
we've
is.
hit it.
Normally I close out, but Eli has chose to do that for me today.
Oh, Eli coming in with the assist. He's like, I'm done with this. No, I'm kidding.
No.
Eli just likes to be on top of the show.
I know.
In more ways than one, Eli.
Oh, what? Okay.
What?
Sorry.
What?
This just took a weird turn. What?
I know.
He really likes Tim. What can I say?
Yes.
Yeah.
And with that said, I'm going to say, flash it up again.
Flash the comment. Yay!
Pleasant screams.
Bye.
Bye.